Well, hi everybody. We're at Wrinkled Rock Trailhead, and we're here to climb Old Baldy Mountain right behind me.
While climbing Mount Rushmore requires a special permit, those seeking an adventure in the Black Hills can find one the next mountain over. Despite its humorous name, Old Baldy Mountain presents a serious challenge for hikers. The trail up to Old Baldy can become tough to follow once you reach the Wrinkled Rock climbing area.
If you ever get lost, follow the pink ribbons around the trees along the trail. Then when you come to this creek, jump right over it.
The first mile and a quarter of Old Baldy's trail is a peaceful walk through the forest. However,
once you reach these slabs here, the terrain becomes a lot more challenging up to the summit.
these slabs require Class 3 scrambling to conquer, meaning you'll likely need to use your hands to ascend the rock. After the slabs, you'll reach the toughest part of the route.
Now this log I'm standing on right here provides access to the infamous Mount Baldy Crack.
You can navigate the crack without much risk of falling, but maneuvering through the tight space can be awkward. Fortunately, the summit is a short distance away.
The snowfall and the high winds up at the summit of Old Baldy have turned it into Cold Baldy, so we're gonna sign off Hills Hills from right down here. Tune in next time where we discover the beauty of magical Bear Butte. From Old Baldy Mountain, this is meteorologist Ryan Hill. Hi everybody, welcome to another installment of Hills Hills, and today we're going to travel up Bear Butte.
Rising high above the prairie, Bear Butte is a unique mountain and a culturally significant site for many Native American tribes. Though a well-maintained trail will take you all the way to the summit, Bear Butte is no walk in the park.
Over 1.5 miles, the elevation gain up to the top is over 1,000 feet.
Bear Butte is South Dakota's highest summit outside of the Black Hills. While peaks to the south are mostly composed of stable granite, you'll find plenty of loose sedimentary rock through Bear Butte's ravines, ridges, and gullies.
Make sure you have a firm foothold so you don't wind up slipping on these.
As you climb higher, you'll pass stunning spires and colorful canyons before the trail levels out and turns north toward the summit.
Once you reach the saddle behind me, you've got a half mile to go before you reach the summit.
A few switchbacks later, you'll reach a platform atop the butte, with views extending for many miles in all directions.
We're here at the summit of Bear Butte, and all that elevation gain getting here can make it feel like Stair Butte. Tune in next time where we go to Rockerville's own Silver Mountain. Reporting from the top of Bear Butte, meteorologist Ryan Hill. Well, hello again. We're parked along Beretta Road, and we're about to climb Silver Mountain.
Located just 2.5 miles southwest of Rockerville, Silver Mountain is one of the most easily accessible peaks in the Black Hills. That being said, summit-bound hikers will need to carve their own path.
While Silver Mountain doesn't have any established trails, if you aim for these rocks right behind me, you'll be on your way to the summit.
Unlike surrounding hills, Silver Mountain largely lacks tree coverage after multiple wildfires torched the hillside in recent years.
This tree trunk right here, it's a reminder of one of the larger fires of fall 2024.
Wildfire scorched areas can be filled with loose rocks and brittle wooden debris. In addition, the initial climb up the Silver Mountain South Ridge is quite steep.
Well, that was one amazing climb. But once you're past these rocks, the steepest part is behind you.
If you're approaching a high point on the ridge and think you're almost at the top, prepare for disappointment.
While these rocks might be pretty cool to climb, these are what we call false summits. The real summit is right here behind me.
After ascending and descending from 4 false summits, you'll find yourself on top of Silver Mountain. With only one tree on the summit, views of the eastern hills are spectacular.
Well, we've made the summit of Silver Mountain, but I gotta tell you, this hike was worth its weight in gold. Join us next time when we climb the toughest 7,000er in the Black Hills. Sylvan Peak. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill. Welcome back with another episode of Hills Hills after a week off. Man, I was in Ohio for the Thanksgiving break and there aren't any hills there. We're parked along Needles Highway and we're going to hike Sylvan Peak.
Rising to exactly 7,000 feet above sea level, Sylvan Peak is one of South Dakota's tallest and toughest. An access road will take you up the first couple hundred feet.
Once you reach the solar panel, that's the end of the road, so you're going to have to be bushwhacking.
Steep slopes, dense snow, and thick brush provide plenty of challenges.
Oh, smells like Christmas here. But if you're getting into the thick with the trees like this, you've got to have a experienced hiking guide with you. Wait a minute. Is that Lupe?
With more than 700 summits under her collar, Lupe is one of the most prolific mountain dogs in Black Hills history. You might remember KOTA Territory News covering her last hike before surgery in March. Since then,
she's been doing great. She had a terrific year. The operation went great. And she's all healed up within just, 6 weeks or something like that.
a slow trek through the wilderness sped up when Lupe sniffed out an unmapped trail up the mountain.
We didn't think we'd find a trail, but with Lupe's help, it looks like we've got one right here.
You can climb between two massive granite walls to reach a flat area above 6,900 feet.
Once you reach the top of the crack, the true summit is not far away.
Follow the trail, and you'll find one of the best views in all of South Dakota.
We've reached the summit here of Sylvan Peak, and let's just face it, with this awesome view here, I want to turn it into Chillin' Peak. The snow and the thick brush made this really tough, but with the help of some friends, we made it here through an awesome adventure.
Great job, Ryan.
Way to go, Ryan.
Tune in next time when we climb Little Devil's Tower. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill.
Well, hi everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Hills Hills. And it's a little special because we're hiking today Little Devil's Tower.
Rising to nearly 7,000 feet, Little Devil's Tower actually has a much higher elevation than its famous counterpart in Wyoming. With Needles Highway closed for the winter, you can add another mile of distance to an already challenging hike this time of year. In addition,
As you can see right here, these trees were brought down by more than 101 mile per hour gusts.
significant tree damage at Sylvan Lake forced us to take a detour.
We managed to circumvent all of the large down trees by taking Needles Highway, and now we're on the proper trail.
Storm damage was still evident along the trail,
Well, doing my part.
but proved to be navigable as we reached the standard Little Devil's Tower trailhead.
What the hell? If you're hiking Little Devil's Tower in the summer, this trailhead here is the perfect place to start.
The Little Devil's Tower trail climbs steadily through meadows and shrub forests until you reach a turn towards the summit.
Once you hit this blue arrow right here, it's scrambling time.
With thousands of visitors each year, Little Devil's Tower is likely the most popular Class 3 scramble in South Dakota. Follow trail markers, and you won't have too much trouble reaching the summit.
Well, this tower isn't so little, but that last 500 feet was pretty devilish to me. Tune in next time when we take on a viewer suggestion, St. Elmo's Peak.
From the summit of Little Devil's Tower, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Hills Hills. And for our first hike of the new year, we're hiking St. Elmo's Peak, a viewer suggestion.
Viewer Julie Bell described St. Elmo's Peak as the toughest climb, so we decided to give it a try. The trail to the summit serves as a training route for wildland firefighters and is intentionally left without maintenance to prepare first responders for challenging terrain.
The thing about this trail is that it's pretty straightforward, meaning that you would be just walking straight forward. But there is a lot of elevation gain, so be prepared for a workout.
After passing through a beautiful aspen grove, you'll hop a series of downed trees before coming to the first of 2 road crossings.
Once you get to this Forest Service road, turn right.
After 100 feet or so of frolicking down the dirt road, you'll regain the trail and begin heading straight up the mountain.
After you do your first road crossing, my, does that trail steepen up, but you get to a level off right here and the views are amazing.
As we climbed higher and higher through the dense forest on St. Elmo's north face, we began to appreciate the intense effort KOTA Territory's firefighters go through to stay prepared and ready.
The first 3/4 of this trail can be a long slog, but that last quarter, man, it really opens up with some awesome views.
Keep pushing onward, and only a couple short scrambling moves will separate you from the summit.
Na Elmo's Peak. Hey, we've reached the summit, folks, and windy it is. The wind we experienced almost launched our camera bag right off this cliff here. That was insane. Join us next time when we take on a unique peak here in the Black Hills, 5 Points. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill. Welcome back for another edition of Hills Hills. And today we're on a first alert weather day, as you can see the wind behind me, and we're climbing 5 Points.
Like its name suggests, 5 Points is a mountain with 5 distinct summits along a ridgeline. You can reach the 5 Points high point by heading up a rugged dirt trail just off of China Gulch Road.
It's really nice that with these dense forests, on a windy day like this, you can get some nice protection.
However, that enthusiasm quickly turned to concern as a snowstorm began to batter us in the valley below 5 Points.
As you hike in the Black Hills, you want to be prepared, dress in layers, especially during the winter, because sometimes you can see some pretty wild swings in weather.
In better weather, the walk up the road would likely be fairly easy. At the end of the road, head off trail to reach the top of 5 Points.
Woohoo! We're almost to the summit. We've got 400 feet, and just in time, the clouds are starting to clear, and so is the snow.
Most peaks in the Black Hills are made of stable granite, but you'll need to ascend a treacherous boulder field to reach the 5 Point summit. This loose terrain is unusual for the central Black Hills, but it's good practice if you plan to challenge yourself in the Rocky Mountains. Once you conquer the boulders, you'll reach the highest point of the 5 and find an amazing view of Black Elk Peak.
On the most rugged hike we've had so far, boulder fields, some scrambling, class 3, class 4, you name it, we finally made it to the highest summit of 5 Points. Stay with us next time as we take on the 3rd tallest mountain in the Black Hills, Bear Mountain. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill. Well, welcome back to Hills Hills. We're on Bear Mountain Road, and you guessed it, we're gonna climb Bear Mountain.
Bear Mountain is the 3rd tallest summit in the Black Hills, and though it's mostly a gradual walk up the road, wintry conditions can make any hike more challenging.
During the winter, even though it might be warm in Rapid City and the snow is melting, you'll still find some good snow up in them there hills.
Bear Mountain sits atop the Limestone Plateau, an elevated area in the western hills with rock and vegetation that's very different from the rest of the range. You never know exactly what you'll find out here.
Well, we were gonna keep going, but what the hell is this?
If you walk up Bear Mountain Road, you'll have plenty of elevation gain and loss each way, so save some energy for the journey back. Fortunately,
Once you get to this transmission tower here, you're a little bit past halfway.
Forest Service roads can provide alternative routes through scenic valleys, and you'll pass through plenty of slash piles used for wildfire mitigation.
Well, that's a lot of wood.
Brave the windy ridgelines, and you'll reach the fire tower at Bear Mountain Summit.
If you needed a sign other than the awesome views that you've made it to the summit of Bear Mountain, well, this is our first Hills Hills with one. Tune in next time where we return to the Western Hills to take on Flag Mountain. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill. Welcome back to Hills, and we're going to climb Flag Mountain. And it looks like we've got a little extra hiking to do. Today, it's a special Hills because I want to introduce you to our brand new journalist, Ian Gibson.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We set off down a dirt road towards Flag Mountain, excited to see the ruins of a stone fire tower built in the 1940s at the summit. There was only one problem.
Well, we came to this turn-off here. We looked at the map. This is the wrong Flag Mountain.
As it turns out, there are 2 Flag Mountains in the Black Hills, and this one certainly wasn't South Dakota's 11th tallest peak. We quickly reversed course and drove to the mountain we actually intended to climb.
Okay, now that we're at the real Flag Mountain, we're gonna be bushwhacking up the face to the summit right behind us.
You could easily walk up the road to reach Flag Mountain summit, but due to time constraints and a desire for adventure, we chose to challenge the mountain's eastern slopes.
Well, it looks like we've encountered a cliff, so once again, it's scrambling time.
Numerous downed trees and crumbling cliffs will provide obstacles, but those with solid route finding skills will be able to regain the road and walk a short distance to the summit.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. Flag Mountain, we have made it to the summit. Ian, how'd you like your first Black Hill?
It was something. Once we got to the right mountain, it was quite the workout. But the views are incredible. You really can't beat them.
Tune in next time where we're gonna take on a beast of spearfish, Crow Peak. Until then, for KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill.
Hey everybody, nice of you to roll on in for another episode of Hills. Holy crow, there are a lot of people here at Crow Peak.
Each year, thousands of people choose to challenge Crow Peak, a mountain dominating the skyline above Spearfish. It's not the tallest summit in the Black Hills, but with 6.7 miles of hiking, 1,500 feet of elevation gain, and difficult Class 2 terrain, it has an argument as the toughest.
This might be our muddiest hike yet. I mean, it sounds like I'm slapping water balloons, the slosh under the feet.
If you set out to hike Crow Peak on a pleasant day like we did, expect to encounter plenty of other hikers.
Look at that, we're friends.
The journey begins as a gradual climb through a forested canyon.
Once you get to this hairpin turn you see right here, you're also gonna get a mighty view of Crow Peak.
And becomes tougher as you wrap around the massive mountain.
Once you pass the halfway point, it becomes a little less muddy and a little bit more rocky.
The most difficult part of the hike comes when you begin to ascend Crow Peak's western face.
These switchbacks up these talus fields are the toughest part of this hike up Crow Peak and among the toughest in our 10 episodes of Hills.
Throughout the Crow Peak hike, we relied upon past experiences like snowy trails on 5 Points,
Do you want to be prepared? Dress in layers.
loose rock on Bear Butte,
Make sure you have a firm foothold so you don't wind up slipping on these.
and scrambling on Flag Mountain.
Once again, it's scrambling time.
Working our way through our toughest challenge yet, and finally reaching the summit of Crow Peak.
Caw-caw! At last we made it to the top of Crow Peak. And that's it for season 1 of Hills. Tune in next week when we begin season 2 with some familiar friends on Buzzard's Roost. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill. See you out there.
Two words, Hills. Welcome back to another edition of Hills. It's the 2nd season, and we're here at Buzzard's Roost.
Buzzard's Roost is only a 20-minute drive from downtown Rapid City. With gradual inclines and well-maintained trails, it's a great place to bring friends for a quick adventure.
We welcome back Ian. How we doing, Ian?
Hi, I'm back.
And we've also got a new familiar face. This is our producer, Trev.
Hi there. How you doing?
And then there's his doggo, Toby.
What up, boys?
There are several trails winding up Buzzard's Roost, and if you take the North Buzzard Trail like we did, you'll come to a fork about halfway up.
Either way, you're gonna get to the summit. Some routes are more scenic than others, some are straight to it, like the one off to your left.
GPS applications displaying hiking trails can be useful, but don't be surprised if you run into a couple obstacles on the way up.
The December 2025 windstorm has affected a ton of trails in the Black Hills, and this one was not immune, so you're gonna have to look for some detours.
Buzzard's Roost is fairly easy to climb in snowy conditions, but make sure to prepare adequately as with any winter hike.
Man, it's windy today, and all this shouting over the wind, it's got me a little hoarse, but thankfully, we've got a little dog. So, without further ado, it's Toby time.
Regardless of the number of legs you may possess, the final ridgeline stretch to the summit of Buzzard's Roost is pleasant, straightforward, and scenic.
Well, welcome to the summit of Buzzard's Roost, and my goodness, this is a stellar view, probably one of the many greatest views of the Black Hills. We've got another one coming at you next weekend on Hills Hills. Head into Rapid with us when we explore, Cowboy Hill. For KOTA Territory News, this is meteorologist Ryan Hill. Welcome back to another edition of Hills Hills, and for the 150th anniversary of Rapid City, we're in Founders Park to hike Cowboy Hill.
Bearing the South Dakota Mines logo and home to several beautiful trails, Cowboy Hill is one of Rapid City's hiking hotspots. Once again, I joined Ian,
Hey everyone, I'm back.
and we began heading up the steep lower slopes.
Once you pass this steep section full of ledges just like this, the trail starts mellowing out real soon.
You can head up a dirt road for a quick and easy journey to the summit, but our favorite is along the southeast ridge.
A lot like Buzzard's Roost, you're gonna find a decent system of trails here with all sorts of choose-your-own-adventure situations.
This wasn't the first time the Hills Hills crew took on Cowboy Hill. Way back in March 2025, we actually filmed Episode 0 here to pitch the series to KOTA's newsroom leaders. Since then, we've made some improvements.
Transmitter tower, transmitter tower, transmitter tower.
Once you reach this transmission tower, you're getting really close to the summit.
Past the transmission tower and head on to Cowboy Hill's saddle, no pun intended, to reach the final stretch.
Just jet up this trail right over here, and you're on your way to the summit.
After a steep final climb on loose dirt, you'll find yourself standing above the City of Presidents.
Woohoo! We have reached the summit of Cowboy Hill, and the view of Rapid City is tremendous. Stay tuned next time when we take on Commissary Peak with a major update to Hills Hills. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome back for another episode of Hills Hills. And today, we're taking on Commissary Point.
Commissary Point is one of the more unique climbs you can find in the Eastern Hills. A heavily forested peak with a ring of limestone cliffs around a flat summit. This mountain towers over a newsworthy site from 18 months ago.
As you walk along this dirt road right here, you're walking into the burn scar of the September 2024 first Thunder Fire.
You'll start your journey to the summit by walking along McGee Road.
Well, we've come to the crossing with a trail called Victoria's Secret Trail. Yeah, that's really what it's called. And we're almost to Commissary Point. You can see it as you head down this trail.
And as Commissary comes into view, Prepare for a steep and rugged off-trail climb.
Now we're getting ready for some bushwhacking. So watch this drive.
After you leave the road, the slope becomes steeper and steeper until you reach the cliffs.
Once you reach these rocks right here, you're almost to the summit, but hey, how about some scrambling time?
Route finding skills are essential for reaching the summit, and we found a nice Class 3 scramble up loose terrain, gaining access to a great view of the eastern hills.
We made it to the top of Commissary Point, and man, some of that was the loosest rock we'd seen so far in all of Hills Hills. Tune in next week so you can see a rather enthralling mountain, Thrall Mountain. For KOTA Territory News, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill.
Hills Hills is back. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another edition of Hills Hills. You might be wondering, what are we doing here in Johnson Siding? Well, today we're here to climb Thrall Mountain.
The thrilling and enthralling Thrall Mountain towers above Johnson Siding, and if you start downtown like we did, make sure to choose an appropriate point to start your journey.
One of the more unique things about this trail is the concern about trespassing on private property, but once you reach National Forest property, you're good to go.
Make no mistake, Thrall Mountain is steep. You'll encounter a slippery slope of pine needles and thorn bushes before reaching the rocky upper gullies.
We found one of Thrall Mountain's infamous talus fields. We finally made it. So, the rocks, they're gonna be grippy, but you're still gonna have to watch out for some loose ones.
When traversing talus, use extra caution. Each loose rock here can twist your ankle. Take it slow and steady.
After you get done with this talus field behind me, it's about 250 feet of bushwhacking to the summit.
A short while later, you'll arrive atop the peak and find a chair-shaped cairn we'd like to call the Throne of Thrall.
Well, that was our toughest train yet, but we're kings of the castle now that we're finally on the summit. Whew. But we got a 500-acre fire that we just saw off in the distance, and we need to go grab it. So for now, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill, signing off. See you out there.
Welcome back to Hills Hills. We've got Sylvan Lake behind me, and we're gonna hike the tallest of them all, Black Elk Peak.
It's a mountain that needs no introduction. At 7,244 feet above sea level, Black Elk Peak towers over all of South Dakota. Our previous 14 summits in the Hills Hills series varied greatly but had one thing in common. Black Elk Peak was ever present on the horizon. The well-traveled trail starts out as a smooth path with a gradual incline.
Look at this rock. Man, every time it even makes me gawk. You're 1 mile in once you see this.
After you reach Flasher's Point, the trail's difficulty increases. If you haven't hiked Black Elk Peak in the last 6 months, the scenery has changed substantially.
Oh, snap. Look at these trees here. This is a sign of the December windstorm.
After gaining plenty of elevation, get ready to lose some.
Once you get halfway there, you're gonna go downhill a little bit, but don't worry, that's not gonna last long.
With dense forests, gigantic boulders, and abundant wildlife, you never know what you'll find in the Black Elk Wilderness.
Geez, you see that tree back there? That root system was as big as me.
At 7.2 miles, Trail 9 is the longest we've attempted on Hills Hills. It's a test of endurance, but you'll see the summit gradually drawing closer.
All right, everybody, we're half a mile of the way to the top, and you can see it. Right behind me there is the summit of Black Elk Peak.
As always, make sure you double-check the forecast before you set out deep in the wilderness.
Look at the dramatic clouds. Although, those look like storm clouds, so I'm issuing a first alert. Let's speed up the hike, shall we?
As we push through the final stretch, we reminisced on all the great memories we made through Hills Hills. This series couldn't have been possible without all the friends who joined the journey. And this final climb up to the fire tower marked both the end of an era and the start of many new journeys.
There's that same chipmunk, I think. No, that's a bird. It's a robin.
That'll do it, huh?
Well, here we are. The last summit of Hills. And what a way to top it off than hitting the top of South Dakota, right here on Black Elk Peak. For all of us here at KOTA Territory News, and for the crew behind me here, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hill. Thanks for joining me, and as always, see you out there.